Hi, Perrin. Welcome to DaddyCast with your math lesson. I'd like you to open your book, your math textbook, to page 40. Now, I think you have already done problem 6, A through F. If you hadn't, then please pause the video and do those problems. But right now, we're going to be discussing problem 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, I hear that you are talking about order of operations, learning order of operations. That's really good. So you're learning that multiply and divide always come before plus and minus when you're doing a math problem that has multiple sections. And if you need plus and minus to happen before multiply and divide, you use the parentheses to group them together. Or not come before, but if you need to group them together, you can use the parentheses. All right, that's really also important for computer programming. It's important when you're doing computer programming to know the order of operations for when you add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and when you need to use parentheses so that your computer program can do the right things in the right order. So right now we're just learning the very basics of using parentheses and doing more than one problem inside the same equation, more than one expression inside the same equation. So let's start with problem 7 here. So here's the story. Shauna has $20. $20. Here's the money. 20. She spent $8 on a toy. And she spent $8, or she spent $5 on a book. And the question is, how much money does she have now? So, the way they want us to think about it is that this is all the money that she gave away to somebody else. This is the money she started out with. This is the money she gave away to buy things. And how much is left over? So, as it says, we can write the expression $20 take away minus the $8 that she spent plus the $5 that she spent. It's going to equal something. So, based on that, I want you to find out how much money she has left. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to figure it out, since you have to do 1, 2 math problems here to figure out the answer. All right, so we have our problem, $20 minus 8 plus $5. When we have the parentheses, we have to do those first before we do any other problems. So we can't do 20 minus this until we know what this is. So let's figure out what this is. Let's choose another color. $8 plus $5. What's 8 plus 5, Perrin? $13, right? So now we did that, we can copy down $20 minus $13 equals, what's 20 minus 13? 7. $7. So Shauna had $7 left. So when it's in parentheses, you have to do it first before you do the outside equation. All right, let us move on to problem 7b. And it's going to show that if you do the subtraction and the addition in a different order, you get a different answer. That's why it's important to respect the parentheses. So Paul had $20, so he starts out with the same amount of money. He had $20, and he spent $8. What would that normally be? Like minus 8. He then made $5 more. So after he did this, he did $5 more. But right now, since we're learning to use parentheses, we're going to put this first expression in parentheses and evaluate it first before we do the second expression, which is however much this is plus $5 more. So how much money does he have? Now we can write the expression like this. $20 that he started out with minus $8 that he spent. That gives him some new amount that we're going to put here. And that new amount of how much money he has at this point is then going to get added to $5 that he made from some job, right? So the question is, how much money does he have now? All right, Perrin, here's your 20 seconds. And marks, set, go. Okay, let's see how you did. So we're going to evaluate the expression in parentheses first. 20 minus 8 is how much? 12. So he has $12 after he spends $8 on something. Then he makes $5 more. And $12 plus $5 is how much? That's right. Hold on a second. I'm writing the wrong thing. $12 plus $5 is $17. So after he has 20, spends 8, that gives him $12. He makes another $5, and that gives him $17. Hopefully that's the answer that you got. All right, clear that page. And let's move on to question C. So we have two different stories here. We have Shauna, who had $20 and then spent, that's the minus, she spent $8 and she spent $5. We have a different story of Paul, who had $20 He spent 8 first. Then he added by earning it $5 more. The numbers are the same, 28, 5, 28, 5. The operators are the same, minus, plus, minus, plus. So, do these two equations come out to the same answer? What do you think? And the answer is, oops, let's try to pick red. The answer is no. They do not. And the reason is because the order of operations is different, because they have different parentheses. So remember, for this one, we have to do this part first because of the parentheses. 8 plus 5 is 13. 20 minus 13 is 7. This one, we have to do this part first because it's in the parentheses. 20 minus 8 is 12. And then 12 plus 5 is 17. Different order of operations, even if you have all the same minus and pluses operators, even if you have all the same numbers, because of the parentheses, they come out to different answers. All right, let's move on. Question 8 on page 40. Mrs. Harris bought 5 bags of apples and 2 boxes of oranges. There were 8 apples in each bag. And 16 oranges in each box. Write an expression for how many fruits she bought all together using the numbers 2, 5, 8, and 16 only. It doesn't have to be in that order of 2, 5, 8, and 16, but you have to use only these numbers. Okay, I'm going to give you 20 seconds to write the problem. You don't have to solve it, you just have to write it first. If you need more time, pause the video. Okay, so if you need more time, now's the time to pause the video. Otherwise, we have to put in some operators and some parentheses here, because now that we're doing multiple expressions in the same equation, they want you to use parentheses. So if we have 5 bags of apples and 8 apples in each bag, that's a multiplication problem. 8 apples per bag times 5 bags, right? Times 5 times 8. And if we have 2 boxes of oranges and 16 oranges in each box, that's also a multiplication problem. 2 bags times 16 apples per bag. We want to know how many there are altogether, so we're going to have a plus, but we need to put this expression in parentheses so we can evaluate it separately. And we need to put this expression in parentheses so we can evaluate it separately. How did you do, Perrin? If you have a question or you don't understand something, feel free to pause the video and come ask me. All right, that was part A. part B is to answer how many fruits did she buy altogether, apples and oranges. So you need to solve the problem. I'm going to give you, I'll run it twice, give you 40 seconds to figure this one out. Here we go. If you need longer, you can always pause it. All right, how do you think you did, Perrin? Let's figure out the apples first. It's the first expression here. 5 times 8. 5 bags of 8 apples each. So we need to multiply. 5 times 8 is how many? I hope you said 40. Then we're going to figure out how many oranges we have. 2 times 16. How many did you get? If you want to do mental math, you can think that 16 is actually 2 eighths. So you could take the 2, multiply it over here, and have 4 times 8. But maybe you just figured out 2 times 16 some other way, like 2 times 10 is 20, and 2 times 6 is 12. And 20 plus 12 is 32. Right? So now we know how many apples, and now we know how many oranges. We did them in their parenthesis groups. And we add them together. 40 plus 30 is 70, and 0 plus 2 is 2. 72. So, Mrs. Harris bought 72 fruits. How did you do, Perrin? If you need some help or don't understand something, pause the video and come ask me. Otherwise, let's move on to page 41. So, here we have the little girl saying, an equation is a number sentence stating that two amounts are equal. So, back here, we write the whole thing out, 72. That's the final answer. 5 times 8 in parentheses plus 2 times 16 in parentheses is equal to 72. So this is the whole sentence that's saying they're equal. Two amounts. On this side, this amount with expression 1, expression 2 added together. And on this side, just a number, 72. The whole thing is the equation. It's called an equation because of the equal sign. They equate. They are the same. 72 is the same as 5 times 8 plus 2 times 16. All right, I'm going to clear this, and let's look at problem 9 over here, page 41. So we have, it says this equation is true. 8 equals 2 times 4, because we know that 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So we can say 8 equals 8. Now, here is the question that they have. Problem A. add 10 to both sides of this equation. Right here, 10 to both sides. Is the equation still true? Let's write it out. Eight plus 10 equals, now we're using parentheses, 2 times 4 plus 10. Question is it equal? So, I'll give you 20 seconds. All right. If you need more time, you can pause. Otherwise, let's go ahead and talk about the problem. So, on this side, we didn't need parentheses because there's only one expression on this side of the equation. 8 plus 10 is what? Pretty easy, right? 18. And we're checking to see if it's equal. On this side of the equation, we have two expressions, 2 times 4 and plus 10. 2 times 4 is what? 8 plus 10, so we keep the 10. And then we're going to rewrite the equation again. 18 is equal to, what's 8 plus 10? 18. So, is the equation still true? The answer is yes. If you add the same thing to both sides of an equation, it still remains equal. All right, let's clear this one and do problem B. It says add 10 to one side and the expression 2 times 5 to the other side. Is the equation still true? 8 plus 10 equals, that's what we're trying to find out. I'm going to run out of space. 2 times 4 plus 2 times 5. Is it equal? All right, here we go. 20 seconds. All right. We're going to do both sides of the equation and see if it's still equal. 8 plus 10, what's that? 18. And is it equal? Okay, we have to do the two expressions separately first, and then, this is a bad plus sign, add them together. 2 times 4 is how much? 8. And we're going to add 2 times 5. What's 2 times 5? 10. All right, 18 equals, what's 8 plus 10? 18. So when you start with the same number and you add a 10 on this side and you add an expression, 2 times 5, 2 times 5 is really equal to 10. So really, we added 10 to both sides, just like in A. So the equation is still equal. Yes, it is equal. All right, problem C. Multiply both sides by 10. We added 10 up here, and then we added 10 in an expression that equals 10 up here. But does it work if we multiply? Let's find out. So we start out with 8 times 10. Is it equal? Is it? To our original expression, 2 times 4. Now we're multiplying this side by 10. All right. Try your hand at this one, Perrin. Okay. Let's take a look. So, what's 8 times 10, Perrin? What's 8 times 10? 80. Okay, what we want to know is it equal to 2 times 4? Take that times 10. So 2 times 4 is what? 8. And then we keep the times 10. We're going to write that out below. 8 times 10 is what? 80. We have 80 over here. Oh, they are equal. Multiply both sides of the equation by the same number, 10, 10, they'll be equal. Another way to look at it is 2 times 4 is 8. So if you have 8 equals 8, 8 times 10 equals 8 times 10. Of course they're the same. It's just they make it tricky by making it 2 times 4, which is 8. The numbers multiply, the equation is equal. All right, finally, we have problem D. So we have our original equation, which was 8 equals 2 times 4. That's the original equation. Now, they want you to multiply one side by 10, first side, and the other side by the expression 5 plus 5, the other side. So I'm going to give you 20 seconds to write out the new equation. All right, let's see if you came up with the same thing I did. So they asked us to multiply one side by 10. So I'm going to say 8 times 10. And we're going to say, is it equal? I'm writing the question mark. You don't have to. Is it equal? That's not really a real math symbol, question mark over a equal sign. I'm just using it for this video. 8 times 10. Is it equal to 2 times 4? Now tell me if this is right. Times 5 plus 5. Is that right? What do I need to do? I need to put this in parentheses and put this in parentheses. Okay. All right. So this is what your equation should look like. According to me. Is that what you got? If not, maybe pause the video and come ask me for some help with figuring out what went wrong. Okay, now let's move on to the next part of question D, which is you need to figure out, is this equation still equal? Is it still true? So I'm going to give you 40 seconds. 2 sets of 20. Here we go. All right, let's finish this one up. Oh, look down here, they had the problem already written out. They didn't put parentheses, but I think they're supposed to, because we're doing parentheses. I mean, it will multiply out to the same thing if you don't have the parentheses. But it's good that we put them in. Okay, because that's what we're trying to learn about parentheses. So let's figure it out. So 8 times 10, how much does that multiply out to, Perrin? 8 groups of 10, right? 80. Does it equal? We have to do each parenthesis group separately. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then we keep the times for here. And 5 plus 5 is what? 10. So now we can finish the equation. 80 equals 8 groups of 10. 80. So 80 equals 80. The equation is the same. This little guy says if you add or multiply both sides of an equation by the same number, the two sides stay equal. All right. Hope you're starting to make that. Hope it's starting to make sense. All right. And here we go. Find the number that goes in the orange square to make the equation true. All right, Perrin. I am going to let you finish these problems by yourself, and then I can check them for you. And then so hold on a second. You can either pause the video and do that now, or you can wait until I tell you what your other problems are going to be. So, in your workbook, you're going to do pages 32 through 33. And in your extra practice book, you're going to do pages 17 and 18. All right. Go ahead and pause the video and go to work. You can do it. You're doing great.